Hey y'all, Kyrie here. I'm here being assisted by my little cousin Legend. Say hi, Legend.
So,
So we've been getting a lot of requests for um, Avengers Endgame, the review of it anyway, and I just haven't felt the need to post my review because everyone I talk to, they say they hate it. That was Soraya, by the way. She's my other cousin, and everyone I've been talking to, I've said I hate it, and they were like, "What? How could you hate the Avengers? It's 3 hours full of awesome." And I'm like, "No, it's not." Before I go into my little spiel, Legend, how'd you like the movie?
spoiler alert. The end movie was the best part.
The ending was the best part?
Yeah.
So for him, the ending was the best part. For me, the best part uh, was probably when it ended, the credits, because the entire time I almost fell asleep, y'all. There are a lot of things in it that I just didn't really care for. The fact of the matter is, if you watch Infinity War and Thanos does the snap when he's got Thor's battle hammer or battle axe in his fucking chest, it really like annoyed me that he was able to escape, and he escaped relatively easily. But for whatever reason, in this movie, when they use the Infinity Stones, it's like life or death. It's like if you use it and you're not strong enough, you die. And when was that ever a rule? That's called plot armor, y'all. That's plot armor. But I thought that was so stupid. It was a way to kill Tony Stark. Spoiler alert, Tony Stark dies. And it was just to me, it was just stupid. I didn't like that part. So the beginning of the movie, if you remember, you've got Thor who goes with the other teammates to tries and find
Chop off
Thanos.
his neck and stuff. Chop
Yeah,
off his head.
Thor, at the beginning of this movie, like 10 minutes into the movie, chops off Thanos' head. And so then you're just stuck wondering where are they going to go with this. And I hadn't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp yet. So that's my fault for not knowing about the whole multiverse and time travel and all this yada, yada, yada. But the fact of the matter is, I was like, okay, so what next? Um, After Thanos gets his head cut off, after the 15-minute mark, maybe, you've got literally 2.5 hours worth of boring nonsense. And a lot of it is them going and back to their other movies, their older movies, and redoing scenes from them. And to me, that wasn't fun to watch. Was that fun for you?
No.
So I'm an adult, he's a kid, and I just felt like maybe this wasn't for me. But if it wasn't for him, who was it for? Like, I don't get it. Like, the whole jumping back and forth, redoing scenes, all the comedy and all that stuff. For this to be the final film, I felt like the stakes should have been a lot higher. And I felt like the stakes were higher in Infinity War. So, you have pretty much the entire movie is a giant episode of Family Guy where Stewie has a time machine and they're going back and redoing things they should have done the right way the first time. Or whatever. I'm not even going to cover that part because it's a time-based movie and it's stupid. Skip to the end where you've got Thanos who ends up being able to teleport his entire ship through time to come to the future where they've collected the stones using Nebula. Now when that part right there really I didn't like either. You have old Nebula from the past and future Nebula from the future. Apparently, 9 years from the future, they're still on the same technology, even though she has been ripped apart several times since then by Thanos himself and by other people and then put back together. They apparently still work on the same hard drive, so they have the same memory. That to me, do you remember that part?
Yeah.
That was stupid. I'm like, no, they're two different people. She does not have the same memory. She has the same hard drive. What is this? I was like, when that happened, I was like, this is stupid. And then you have the fact that no one knew that Nebula from the past had switched spots with Nebula from the future or the present. And I'm like, how did they not know that? They couldn't sense that something was off with her. All those people there with all their divine powers and their ability to sense when somebody is, being, weird, they couldn't tell that Nebula was acting a little bit more feral because you can see it in her facial features. Maybe it's because we had the knowledge that they had switched, that we had known. But at the same time, I feel like that's a huge plot hole where no one thought to like question her on her actions because she was moving in totally completely differently than when she had went with them to begin with. Oh, Black Widow. How'd you feel about Black Widow killing
I don't know
herself?
how. Like, Didn't she defeat Thanos?
No, Black Widow, not Scarlet Witch.
Oh, yeah.
So you have Black Widow and you got Hawkeye fighting over who's going to kill themselves for the Soul Stone. That entire scene to me was just so stupid. There was no reason to draw that out. If that movie was over 3 hours long, there was no reason for it. So if one of them has to die, choose the one without a family. I understand you feel guilty, Hawkeye, for being used in the first movie and killing all those people and then all this extra nonsense, but you've got a family. You've got a wife and 3 kids. Black Widow ain't got nobody. Say thank you, Nat. Thank you for sacrificing yourself for me. Jump off the fucking cliff so I can get my family back. That's all he had to do. That would have been to me a lot more heartfelt and a lot more genuine than the whole "I'm gonna die." No, I'm gonna die. And then they're just fighting over who's gonna die. That's so dumb. And I sat there and I remember watching it. I was just like, really, really, whatever. Anyway, so what about the ending did you like?
The part where they defeated Thanos. That was like the best action part.
Okay, so you liked it because there was action in it. Because in this movie, I agree, there was no action. You had the only action was towards the beginning when they went after Thanos, then Thor cut off his head. But then after that, they're literally finding people to do this mission, and there was a little bit of action when they went back into their past, and you had Captain America versus Captain America. I didn't like that. That to me, that fight was so stupid. He was more experienced, but the other one was younger, marginally younger. 11 years difference. I mean, I guess, one's in his 20s, one's in his 30s, but still, super serum, all that experience. Don't answer that. All the experience. I don't think that the young one with the mask on should have been able to beat the older one who was there to get the Soul Stone.
I feel like that the older
Not the Soul
one
Stone.
should have been like more experienced, like
Oh,
way more trained.
he got it, hit it right on the head. The one from the future, and it was the Mind Stone, not the Soul Stone, should have been able to wipe the floor with his younger self. I mean, that's just the thing. And so the younger one was under the impression that it was Loki in disguise. Loki can't fight. Like Loki just can't fight. So whenever he was fighting himself and he had all these moves that were his own, he should have stopped and put two and two together, especially when he said, "Wait, you don't understand. I'm not Loki." That right there should have been like, okay, wait a minute, something's not right. Because I'm fighting this dude and he fights just like me. He's saying he's not Loki and Loki can't fight. Maybe he isn't Loki. And just listen to him. But no, Captain America chose to just go in guns blazing after he had already fought that giant fight in New York. And that's another thing. So that Captain America was already sore from that fight he had in New York. How was he able to still fight so freshly? And beat another Captain America who had 11 years more experience fighting bad guys. Exactly. See, he's over here. He's like, I don't know what to say. You can't say anything. There's no excuse for that. All garbage. But anyway, going to the end, you said there was lots of action. The fight between Thanos and then you've got Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Why did they lose that fight? How did they lose that fight? It's a thing called plot armor. So when you grow up and you study media, if you choose to study media, there is a term called plot armor where they take a plot that can sometimes make no sense and they put armor around it so that way it can't be defeated. So that fight right there was pure plot armor to prove that Thanos was this big badass, even though he had no Infinity Stones at the time. Because remember, he beat the Hulk with the Power Stone, and then he had a hard time beating Iron Man with all the other stones when he was fighting on his homeworld in Infinity War. Now remember that. So he was over there having a hard time against Iron Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, and Nebula, and Spider-Man on Titan, his homeworld in Infinity War. Yet you have him with no Infinity Stones in this one. People said he just wanted it more. That's the excuse that they gave for this movie, that Thanos wanted it more. That's why he was able to beat the 3 main Avengers. Does that sound right to you?
No, because if he had trouble with Iron Man with the stones, how?
Could he beat Iron Man with Thor, with Captain America? And Thor, by the way, had both his hammer and his axe.
Chopped off his neck like he did earlier in the movie.
Yeah, but apparently he couldn't do that in this part of the film. You know why? Plot armor. And so, continuing on, he knocks out Iron Man. So it's just Captain America and Thor. And Thor's got, like I said, both those weapons. And for whatever reason, it ain't working. He's over there trying his hardest to take on Thanos. And what happens, Legend?
Thanos defeats him.
Thanos defeats him. But then what happens? There's something that everyone just clapped and cheered. They're like, oh my God, yes! What happened? Captain America picks up those two weapons. But my thing is, if Captain America's got his shield in his hand, I guess he did this whole thing like this, but he had his shield, so he was sending both those things flying and then throwing the thing, and Thanos was like, and then apparently all that was a bunch of bullshit because Thanos was just toying with them. But my thing is, he may have been able to pick up the hammer. Okay, I will concede that. He would not have been able to pick up that axe. That axe has a completely different set of powers that no mortal, regardless of how enhanced they are, could have picked up. That axe has way too much power. Only Thor can wield that axe because it was made specifically for Thor.
Isn't Hulk stronger than Captain America?
Oh, the Hulk is most definitely stronger than Captain America. The Hulk can pick up the hammer, but that's because the Hulk has infinite strength. His strength does not have a cap to it. The madder he gets, the stronger he gets. And so that's another reason why I was like, how did Thanos beat him? Because as strong as Thanos is, Thanos can't beat the Hulk in a punch-out battle. He just can't. But that's the Infinity War. It's not this movie. Anyway, so with all that going on, you've got Captain America with the axe, the hammer, the shield. None of it helps. Thanos is over there getting his butt kicked, and he's over there, and then he just goes and smacks Captain America away. And for whatever reason, he can't use those weapons he was using before. And Thanos calls his weapon and just cuts Captain America's shield. No. I was so pissed when that happened. I was like, no, that can't happen. This is dumb. And it's all a bunch of fan service. Because then at that point, you've got this big battle breakout because that's when everyone comes back. You have the Hulk come out with the glove and he snaps his fingers and everyone comes back. But then the Hulk is taken out of commission because apparently the snap was so powerful that the entire Hulk's arm was burnt and black and ugly. And I just didn't get it. Anyway, everyone comes back, and they're all taking turns fighting Thanos. But the only one who actually could stand a chance against Thanos, out of everybody there, who was it, Legend? The Scarlet fucking Witch. And I'm thinking to myself, didn't she need Black Widow to rescue her in Infinity War? How the heck is she up in this battle right now, beating the one guy that took down Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America with all those weapons?
Maybe she did it in a secret way.
No, she did it because it was plot armor. They wanted to showcase the Scarlet Witch because the Scarlet Witch is going to be in the next Marvel movies. And I was so not impressed. I love the Scarlet Witch, don't get me wrong. She's one of the most powerful mutants. But in this series, she's not considered a mutant.
I thought there was going to be no more Avengers movies.
No, so the phases are over, ending with Endgame. So the people that were acting in these films, a lot of them don't want to do it anymore. Chris Evans said he doesn't want to do it anymore. Robert Downey Jr. said he didn't want to do it anymore. And I think Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, didn't want to do it anymore. But that's not the point. You got Spider-Man who's still continuing. You got Black Panther that's still continuing. And now that Marvel or Fox is now being majority controlled by Disney, they're adding the mutants to Marvel. And so they're probably going to incorporate X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because in Infinity War, you had the X-Men playing a big role in it. But since Fox had control over X-Men, the X-Men weren't included. Anyway, continuing on, you have the Scarlet Witch whooping Thanos' butt so bad that he's got to call an airstrike out And he says, bomb the field, light it up, set it on fire. I don't care that our people are down here fighting too. I want you to stop this bitch from killing me because that bitch was about to kill him. And I just couldn't stand it. I'm like, how can you be so inconsistent with your own characters? She needed help. She was about to get killed in Infinity War by a chick with a spear with no powers, but she could fight really well. And who comes to her rescue? Black Widow. The most powerful chick on the Avengers team with pure raw power was having trouble with Thanos. I mean, was having trouble with this spear chick. I'm over here rambling at this point, y'all. But y'all see what I'm saying, right? Just inconsistent. There's other stuff too that it just blew my mind. It was 3 hours worth of bullshit, and I didn't like it. He didn't like it. I talked to a lot of people that love the film until I tell them about all these plot holes, and I ask them about this, and I ask them about that, and their response is, yeah, well, it's just a movie. I understand that it's just a movie, y'all. I do. I get that. But what happened to our expectations? What happened to our expectations, Legend?
Um,
He's 11 years old. So he was not born yet when the first movies came out. If you were to watch these movies from the beginning, you'll notice a sharp decline in sophisticated humor. You notice a sharp decline in writing talent. That I think that we got so invested in these films that we decided to say, you know what? It doesn't matter what you send us. We'll accept that for what it is, even if it's hot garbage, because a lot of times it was hot garbage, and we'll love it anyway. I was never that type. I was taken out of that film, Endgame, so many times that it just blew my mind. But anyway, you look like you're getting tired. I'm getting tired of saying the same stuff over again. Endgame was bad. I probably would give it maybe a D plus, C minus at best, because it was nothing more than a big old medley of hard to follow bullshit. What grade would you give it?
C.
You got 5 seconds.
C.
C? All right. He gave it a C, y'all. Anyway, I'm Kyrie. This is my cousin Legend. Like I said earlier, I've got some other reviews that I'm going to be posting just with the whole YouTube acting funny about posting live stuff without having 1,000 subscribers. It's hard for me to actually sit down and do this sometimes. Posting it live and not having to do retakes and editing and stuff, it's super easy, but not like this. It takes like forever for this stuff to download. Anyway, peace out, y'all. Look out Thursday night, Friday morning for Dark Phoenix, the X-Men review. I'm probably not going to like the movie, but I'm going to go see it anyway. Peace. Uh-oh. Did it stop? It didn't stop. Say something.
Peace.